This past weekend was a crazy weekend, as a lot of weekends are in our collaborative. We had all sorts of celebrations. In both churches, had different activities, and also I had a family wedding. So in the middle of it all, uh, we rejoiced. We rejoiced in God's gifts. And of course, when one gets together with one's family, there's always the joy of the next generation. And my great nieces and nephews were there, and of course they were the center of joy. And when I look at their faces, I just see love. I see thanksgiving. I see gratitude. I see all the things that just give us joy in this life. And thanks be to God, children give us that marvelous gift. They remind us, as I love to remind people, of what really matters. Faith, hope, and love. They reflect it perfectly and beautifully. The concept of the angels has been in the church, not just in the New Testament, but throughout the Old Testament as well. You know, a lot of people don't see that. They only see the brief references to them in the New Testament, but they've been a part of the Old Testament too. And there's a worry that I have about when we talk about angels. People will tend to commercialize them. You know, there's a lot of money to be made from angels. A lot of people will put them up and will use images of them to sell X and Y and Z. It's ridiculous. If we really understand the role of angels, we would have such awe and such joy because we realize that these angels have been a part not only of the history of our faith, but in the lives of all of us in one way or another. And I think of all the great angels who have assisted me in my life. You know, I often refer to people as angels who help us in one way or another. And I hope that there are people in everyone's lives that we can think of, pause and say, that person was an angel to me, gave me direction, gave me a word of caution, gave me a word of challenge, invited me into something. And I really believe that God uses his angels to work through us. It's amazing. It's what a gift that God would give us, that he would continue to give us the guidance of these guardian angels throughout the history of our lives, throughout the history of our faith. And of course, that history continues to develop and it continues to grow. And I pray that the angels will continue to guide us, strengthen us, encourage us, remind us of what is important, just as I looked at the faces of my nieces and my great nieces and nephews, filled with such joy and such innocence at this glorious, this happy moment in the lives of our family. We belong to a larger family. We belong to the family that is of God. And we pray that we may always be faithful, as Christ calls us to understand that the voices of those around us are the voices of angels, and we need to hear them. No matter what those voices are, even if a message is going to challenge us, shock us, surprise us, their voices are incredible. Remember, Jesus took a chance in today's gospel when he called that child aside. Children in Jesus' time were barely seen, and they were definitely not heard. Those voices are there. We pray that we may listen to them, learn from them, and follow them. May we do that today and every day of our lives.